Week 37 of the Geek Week in review. And as you can see, we've got RyanSpeaksGeek back with us and a whole bunch to talk about. So stay tuned.
The Geek Week in review.
Hello and welcome back to the Geek Week in review with me, Jacob's Toys, of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell and RyanSpeaksGeek. If you are watching on YouTube, then please do like, share, subscribe, and all of those things. If you're listening on podcast, then again, please download, share, subscribe, all of the things that come with a podcast. And as we previously said, we are now on Instagram and Facebook, so do check out those platforms as well. Check out the description of the video. If you don't follow these gents already, then make sure you do.
We are
Boom!
everywhere
Look
now. We are everywhere. We're on Facebook. We're in the paper
everywhere.
in the morning when you read it. We're on your toast when you eat it. We're everywhere.
No, don't make false promises. We are on Facebook and Instagram. We are not on your toast.
I'm going to put a picture on Instagram and I'm going to put it on toast and just put a Geek Week written on toast.
It's interesting though, because I mean, like, we're not really pushed the Instagram and Facebook, like only obviously here, but you know, a couple of people are on there, and there were people asking whether we had stuff out on those platforms. So I thought, you know, why not? I do need to make sure that we post stuff on the Facebook group though, because it's, you know, anyway, but that's a whole nother thing. We're not here to talk about that. There's loads happened this week. Absolutely loads happened this week. I don't even know where to start, to be fair. Not so much on the movie and television side of things, but much more on the merchandise.
Start at the beginning.
It's an action figure week, isn't it?
It really is an action figure week. There isn't anything. I think the only thing television-wise for me was The Walking Dead's back on. And that had kind of its mid-season break, and it's the final season. And I've been watching it since the beginning. I read all the comic books, but I kind of missed it. I didn't even realize that it launched on a Monday on Disney Plus. And I think Tuesday evening, I was like, oh, it's back on. But yeah, it's all right. It's all right. We're kind of there. It's
television news. I've finally started watching Harley Quinn season 2. Because, you know, I'm up to date on that. And what's other good news? Oh, I know. I've started watching Peacemaker. Oh, no, I haven't, because it's still not in the UK.
No, I don't want to. We discussed the ending of that last week.
I'll tell you, actually, because I don't know the ending. So
how you've avoided that, I don't know. But anyway, what happens? No, I'm just kidding. I'll tell you what I have watched, though. I'll tell you what I have watched just before we do go on to the actual stuff. Agent Carter is on Disney Plus, and I never got I watched the first couple of episodes when it was out, but I never got around to watching the whole thing. And it's only 2 seasons long, and it's actually really good. Like, it's a really good series, and there's no kind of superpowers, there's no kind of you know, dodgy cameos from this person and that person, and I really enjoyed it. Especially with sort of Captain Carter's.
What counts as a dodgy cameo?
No, but do you know how
like Del Boy's Iron Man, you know, like
Del Boy's Batman.
Man. Yeah.
No. But what I mean is that they didn't just sort of push the Avengers in it for the sake of it, or push kind of certain people into it to it was just literally about Shield and Captain Carter, or not Captain Carter, Agent Carter. And I think with the kind of the big movement of her kind of coming back and being involved in things like Endgame and Marvel's What If, and obviously loads of rumors of circling her kind of staying in the MCU for a while, it was just really nice to kind of go back and actually watch that as something new. And the same as well for Agents of Shield. I never got around to actually watching season 7. I just hadn't. So that was really cool.
The show
and
definitely picked up later in its run. I think it started off a bit so and it ended. It got better as it went on.
I just love all of the kind of tie-ins to so much. Like, I really enjoyed Agents of Shield, and I'm disappointed that they kind of ended it. But it's, you know, the Ghost Rider season was phenomenal. Like, to see Ghost Rider kind of on the screens. But while we are on television, actually, there is one piece of news that we have discussed in the week that I suppose we need to kind of address, and that's the Daredevil gang coming off of Netflix. And it was kind of given a date, wasn't it, that these shows will be off Netflix on this date, and like loads of people went and kind of panic watched them and stuff.
The last day, I believe.
Yeah. But then it was announced that they're going to be hitting Disney Plus on X Day. I can't remember the exact day, but they're coming over to Disney Plus, so they're going to kind of fall into that kind of
really getting everything under their banner, aren't they? Disney aren't mucking about it. But the minute the contracts are up on places, you know, like the syndication rights, you know, any kind of film of theirs, anything Disney had owned, because you have that weird thing where you can see like one of the 3 films and something like on one channel and then one streamer, and then they do seem to be like the minute example. It wraps up, they just seem to be going right. We'll take it back now.
Yeah, Spider-Man's a prime example of that, isn't it? That you obviously there's one on Netflix and one here and all the rest of it.
Six quid for the Blu-ray box set. I went for that. It was much easier.
What I did think was interesting about those Netflix shows coming over to Disney Plus is that it gives me a lot of faith that they're not going to try to reimagine the origin stories. I think when we do see Daredevil, it's just going to be a case of, look, you've got all of this. It's available to watch on Disney Plus. This is your guy. And that's really positive, because when he was obviously in No Way Home, there was a lot of people speculating on whether it was going to be a variant version of the one that we know, or whether they're going to go back and do this and stuff. So I think having those shows come over to Disney Plus for me is a sign that they're just going to kind of leave it as it is and
it
carry
felt
on.
very much that way in Hawkeye with Wilson Fisk, didn't it? It felt very much a case of you know who I am, let's get on with it, and just they seem to be doing that with a lot of characters now, which I do prefer that approach. It worked for Spider-Man. And they don't always need to explain every single character to us, because people have got the comic books. If they're really that interested, they'll go back and read them.
I read
even people who aren't that bothered, they've got Wikipedia.
Exactly.
I read a really interesting theory actually about Fisk and Daredevil, and it was the idea that Daredevil got blipped and Fisk didn't, and so that's why he was able to rise up to the level that he was at in Hawkeye.
Oh, good.
Following on from what's happened. And if you think about it like that, if the defenders as such got
if all of them got blipped,
and maybe Iron Fist never came back. No, I liked Iron Fist, but if they all got snapped and Fisk didn't, then that would explain why he went from where he was in Daredevil to where he was in Hawkeye. And it fits. What a genius move. I tell you what, we're going to write in that whoever we want disappeared for 5 years, and that's going to work. It's going to tie in every story. So yeah.
I mean, that is the basic. That is actually slightly better than just going magic. Got it? Just say magic. What, space wizards and magic, Tenetimbers and all sorts of weird, wonderful things.
Yeah, but I think it also opens up a really interesting opportunity for them to explore when it comes to Daredevil, because he's then going to be going up against the same Kingpin that he knew and he fought and all the rest of it, but at a completely different level, which is quite exciting. And Spider-Man
capabilities are better as well. Like we could have Echo meet Daredevil.
Yeah, I always saw Kingpin as a real Spider-Man villain as well, because of the animated series. He was always a villain that I wanted to see against Spider-Man. So I really hope we do see that kind of crossover at some point.
I think very much. It looks like to me. I was thinking this the other day. I wonder if they're going to build up to because everyone's wanted to see Spider-Man and Daredevil on the screen together for years. We finally got a taste of that with No Way Home. I think we're definitely going to have a film at some point that is Daredevil, Spider-Man, Kingpin, Black Cat, that classic lineup from the comics.
We need Black Cat.
And even in that film, they could even introduce Punisher as the hitman hired by Wilson Fisk to take them out, and you could have Bullseye and Punisher sort of team up before Punisher realizes turns on Bullseye kind of thing.
Really go down that route of the comic books there, couldn't
do the electric killing and everything in that film. That'd be an epic movie.
They do need to bring that in, because I think as well as a good opportunity, they need to bring. It's nice to have more sort of female-centered content, because obviously, especially in this day and age, I think it's nice that Disney are one of the few companies seem to really be diversifying a lot of the sort of the films that are coming out, and I think so. There's a good opportunity for that sort of the Spideyverse. There's so many great female characters you can have there, especially with the. I keep saying Spider-Gwen, but Spider-Gwen's got a different name now, hasn't it?
Ghost Spider, yeah.
Which is pretty cool, but I love the way, though, that just tells you what a cool name that is, because Jane didn't say Ghost Spider, but Ghost Spider.
Ghost Spider. I really like Spider-Gwen, as a name. I don't know. That's how I
still
know her.
It's cool.
Yeah, that's how I know her. But in a lot of ways, I'm kind of I wish they'd introduced her as Ghost Spider at the beginning, because that is a cool name. it's a cool name, but for a majority of sort of fans, they're like, well, no, it's just Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen is really shit for your secret identity, though, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Spider Jake.
Like me calling myself, I meant to call myself Ryan Man, Ryan
Man.
That sounds a lot like Iron Man.
Whoa, what are you talking about? I don't talk about copyright, trademark. This isn't Disney.
We have got the budget Avengers here, haven't we? Ryan Man, Spider Jake. who would you be, Sorrell? Come on, we've got Captain Sorrell. Speaking of Spider-Man, though, there's also, they announced that there's the digital and physical release date, wasn't there? And they've said something like, is it 80 minutes of unseen footage, including 20 minutes of just the three Spider-Men
pointing at each other, just pointing at each other
and
for
then,
20 minutes.
And they used that meme, didn't they, as the way of announcing which was it just broke the internet, because everyone was like, it's the meme, like. But I feel that they already kind of did that in the film, like there was that point, wasn't there, where they were in that kind of triangle. So it didn't surprise me as much if they had used that as a marketing campaign right at the beginning. Just like, everyone was saying, no, we're not in it, and then they just dropped that picture, that would have blown up. But yeah, that was cool. And I suppose go on.
I would say, did you see the thing this week that that's flying on the internet that Tom Holland actually gave away?
Yeah,
the big thing of the whole Andrew Garfield thing. He gave it away in an interview, and none of us picked up on it.
I remember
it was there in front of it was there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I saw that interview, and I remember at the time just thinking, I don't want to look too much into this, because everyone was looking so much into everything, and a few other people as well kind of posted about it, but just kind of said he's rubbish. It could have been a stunt double or whatever. For anyone that doesn't know or didn't see the interview, but basically they were talking about Zendaya's fall, and Tom Holland basically says something along the lines of like, "Oh, it looked really.
It was good what you guys did there. It was good what you guys did there. I wasn't there."
Obviously, I wasn't there, yeah. But it's, when it comes to filming, that could have meant anything. But in hindsight, looking back, he just gave it away. And there's a really kind of
his
good
thing,
edit.
isn't it? Bless him.
It is his thing.
The guy who did the interview, I think it was for BBC, I think. Don't quote me on it, but I think it's for the BBC. But the guy who did the interview, the name escapes me, but he's interviewed Andrew Garfield recently, and on like Instagram, YouTube Shorts and TikTok and stuff like that, there's a video of him interviewing Andrew Garfield and telling him about it, and then it cuts into the moment with Tom Holland, and then cuts back, and they're just both laughing about it because he shows him it on his phone and stuff. And it like you say, if we had known in hindsight, he's just given it away, but no one really picked up on it. No one really picked up on it.
Great.
But then in other news as well, The Batman had its official UK premiere in London, where a handful of people got invited to. I am, but I don't know. Like at this premiere, they had the Batmobile on show. They had like Catwoman and Batman's costume. They really went to town with the kind of the walkway and Wayne Manor and all this kind of stuff. It looked really cool as an event, So, there was a handful of people that went to it, and obviously they saw the film. But I don't know. I'm not really hyped for it, but I'm excited for it. Does that make sense?
I've got tickets. I can't wait.
Have you?
I've got tickets for the 4th. Is it 4th, the opening night?
There is a midnight showing, and I'm sort of tempted to go to it.
I'm going to go to the opening night. I'm going.
Yeah, I might join you for the midnight showing, Ryan, if you want to do that. Yeah, let's do an old school midnight show. We haven't done a midnight show for years.
Oh man, like the old days.
Let's do a midnight show. Me and Ryan used to go and see everything at midnight. It was like, 47 meters below, part 2. Yeah, midnight showing.
Shark.
I might be up for that. Yeah. Give me a shout. We'll see if we can make it work.
This will be the next week's Geek Week. I'll be sitting there going, he stood me up.
He didn't turn up. I was like, no, I was there. I was 2 rows behind. But no, I might be up for that. Because it is one of the ones that I'm kind of, I think not that I'd go and see a film like on my own necessarily. I have seen films on my own, but I wouldn't go to this specifically. But if a friend was going, I'd be like, yeah, I'm up for going. Does that make sense? I'm excited, but I'm not
My
hyped.
friend, live on air. That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, well, I've known you for a long time enough. I've known you for long enough to class you as an acquaintance.
Yeah, I've come to think of you as someone I met.
It's someone I met a significant amount of time ago, and that we still talk.
Little Red Dwarf quote in there.
But I'm excited for it. I think it's got potential to. You weren't here, obviously, last week, Ryan, but me and was it last week, Sorrell, that we were saying that it's kind of like a soft reboot, and it feels right that they're kind of doing it in a different timeline than where the kind of Justice League stuff's landing and Flashpoint and stuff. So I think it could
just
work.
Looks like a good, just a Batman film. I just want a Batman film.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it like live on air. Like, I like Robert Pattinson. I actually really like him as an actor.
The whole people saying that, Robert Pattinson Twilight, need to really look at what he's done the last 10 years since Twilight, because he has done so many independent films, but he's done some phenomenal cracking roles. Like, he has been very diverse and big range. I was excited when he got cast.
But I think that even though people mock the Twilight stuff, and even he gets a bit annoyed by it, if I'm correct, but when you actually look at it, it was a hugely popular book series at the time, and it was an incredibly popular movie. What was it, 5 parts when it came out? It kind of rivaled like the Harry Potters and things like that at the time, and it was a well delivered and well received franchise, and I think that he nailed the part. So
he was right place, right time, because they basically wanted, if I remember rightly, they wanted someone from the Potter franchise because Potter was doing so well. The only character that was freed up from that was Robert Pattinson, because he'd been killed off at that point. He gets killed off in Goblet of Fire. And he's obviously the character that's just maturing at that point. He's the oldest of the cast members. They kill him off. Yeah. So they just buy him straight up and go, we'll have that guy then. And obviously it's become iconic now. He is Edward, what's his face? I can never remember the name. Edward from Twilight. And he kind of rivaled Harry Potter for a while.
Edward Cullen. Not that I've watched him.
You not just quote.
Mate, I've got a daughter. I've got a 10-year-old daughter. So,
I actually met the guy who played Jasper in those films. He was actually in a band called.
That's rad.
Yeah,
How'd you met Jasper? He played a bass in a band.
He was the lead singer, and it was over. I can't remember the number. It was over 99 monkeys or 100 monkeys. But no, I went to go see him, and I met him after the show. And the funny thing is, though, when I met him, he was like, he said to me, "I really recognise you. Have you been in something?" And I thought, "No, you're in something. Like what?"
Yeah.
Apparently, I looked generic enough to have maybe been in something. He was like, I think it might have been like, if it was like, were you in those adverts where the tires people? Were you like all white and look like the Marshmallow Man? I was like, yeah. I had hair then, though. All right, we start.
I agree. I think he's a very good actor. I think that I think he's got enough range that he could definitely do the character justice, and I really hope it does well. I really do. I mean,
all the early reviews are incredibly positive. Not a single bad review yet. It's been everyone praising it.
Yeah,
so I'm looking forward to it.
It's nice to have something that's kind of not trying to universe build. It's not trying to rival the MCU. It's not trying to do any of that stuff. It's just, we're telling a Batman story, and that's where we're at.
It's the one we deserve, and maybe the one we get right now.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, so let's go see it.
But the other TV news this week, I'm not sure if anyone's clocked it, but out of nowhere, I was not expecting it. Vikings Valhalla dropped this week on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Vikings was obviously a very successful TV series by History Channel. I think Stars in America is it they do it, but it was very, very, very popular on Amazon here in the UK, and I watched all 6 seasons of it. And they finally put out a sequel to it called Valhalla.
Nice.
It's set 100 years after the original Vikings TV series. Looks awesome.
That's cool. Disenchanted as well. That dropped season 4 of Disenchanted, which I'm a big fan of. That's the Matt Groening. Considering we had no TV news, we've gone pretty well. No TV and film news this week. We're doing really well.
We're well into it. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the more pressing stuff. So where should we go? We got Marvel stuff. We got Star Wars stuff. We got
stuff. The week began with the Hasbro giving us a bunch of stuff from Love and Thunder, didn't it? We had Thor and Jane Foster revealed as the Titan Hero series figures, along with Korg. Is it called Korg?
Korg, yeah.
Korg. And obviously the kids' battle axe has now come out, and the Lego set. Did you see the Lego set with the boat?
Yes.
I want that boat.
The goat boat.
Yeah, the one time that I get out of Marvel and then that gets released, I want the boat, the goat boat.
Yeah. It's such a fun kind of franchise, the Thor franchise, which is I think was a genius move, because the first two were a bit
too
rubbish,
serious.
Yeah, they're a bit rubbish. But Ragnarok really turned it around, and if it stays in that threat, that kind of strain, then I think it will be really good. I'm really excited for it. I really am excited for it, and I think it's because it's Christian Bale, isn't it, that's playing what's his name, what's he called?
He's playing the baddie in this one.
I can't remember what he's called. I've gone completely blank.
Me neither.
But the Lego set,
I just don't know.
It'll come to me about 20 minutes into the show, and I'll just shout.
Oh, was he in the Lego set?
Yeah. So
was it like Gorag or something like that, or something stupid like Gonad? Gorag. No, Gonad is something very different, isn't it?
Gonad.
It is Gore. Oh, I can't remember. I've gone completely blank. I feel like an absolute failure. Absolute failure. No, that's it. I'm not a Marvel guy anymore. I can't remember it.
You're not a real fan.
I thought that it was interesting that the Titan stuff was revealed, because it really gives away quite a few key details. So Thor's costume is obviously given away, and there's definitely blue in it. It's definitely going to be, those leaked images from posters and stuff are very much correct. Yep. And also Jane Foster is holding Mjolnir, and it's got cracks all over it, which obviously show that it's potentially the same version that got shattered by Hela, and it's been put back together. So yeah, that's quite interesting. But it gives me
the thing that got me was the fact that on the box it says that it has two hero modes. The power of Mjolnir in two hero modes. One's going to be Jane Foster's version, and one's going to be Thor's, I think, by the sounds of it.
That's cool.
Because it glows different colors. When you if you put it on the one setting, it glows blue. You put it on the other setting, it glows yellow. So I think Jane Foster's Thor's going to have like yellow like powers, and he's going to have blue.
That's cool.
Or it could just be for the kids thing. I don't know. But yeah, that's what they're going for.
It could just be
smooth
different color
fuzz hammer. That's what it's going to be.
Mate, my lightsaber says smooth fuzz. Never heard it in film. But the Lego sets as well, because Lego is famous for giving away so many big spoilers. Like I'll never forget that Giant Man spoiler when they dropped that airport,
Lego set,
from Civil War. And
my mate Pete got me on that though, because when I said, "Oh, that's giving it away," and he was like, because he'd already seen it and I hadn't seen it. It was one of the ones I'd actually was a whole day late to seeing. I was like, "That's such a giveaway." And he goes, "No, it's such a cop out." He goes, "I'm really pissed off about it." He goes, "I watched it. It's not even in there. It's just one of those stupid Lego sets they do. They don't even include it in the film." And I was like, "Oh, I hate they do that. Oh, I'm so annoyed." And then I watched the film and I was like, "Oh,
there he is." Funny we said that, actually. I was in Smiths with I'm always in Smiths by the sounds of it. But I was in Smiths with my son, my two boys, and we were looking at Lego sets, and it was my son that pointed out, actually, and it was the No Way Home Lego set of the Sanctum, and there's like a weird kind of monster included in it.
Mm-hmm.
And my son was like, "Where was that?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, well, that's a good point, actually." So they do throw things in randomly sometimes. Gore, the God Butcherer, that's what he's called.
Gore.
Google it.
I told you it was something began with a G.
It's
Gore,
the God Butcherer. I'm sure of it.
Gonad for short.
I'm sure of it. It's just. Am I going to reclaim my Marvel title?
We're just going over to SuperSorrell there for technical services, who was confirming that information.
But yeah, so Lego do.
Gore the God Butcher. Yeah, it is Gore the God Butcher. That's Christian Bell character.
There we go. I feel like I've redeemed. Yeah, fatality. But so I'm hoping that the Lego sets they've given us don't give too much away. I really do, because I'm looking forward to this one.
If you look at the Lego set, the name of the boat is I'm going to butcher the word, Aegir. Asgard Thors. Aegir is one of the gods that basically provides the mead and the brewing ales to the halls of Valhalla.
Yeah, they've really gone deep on the
mythology, haven't they? Really?
Norse mythology, because it's the same as the two goats. the two goats pull Thor's chariot, I think, in Norse mythology.
Yeah.
And they've both got names. They're both like official, like they've got names. So
Keith
yeah, they're
and
really
Dave.
going. No, one of them's a woman. She's called Karen. But
2022, Dave can be a girl's name, Jake. Come on.
But if it says Asgard Tours on the boat, again, it could just be a Lego thing. But that's interesting that it says Asgard Tours.
yeah,
I
I
kind of
think
want it to
it's
be
going
like
to
the
tie in.
tours of like what's left of Asgard, like the Revenants. It's just like like a tourist thing.
Or it's going to
Goes
just
around.
tie in with New Asgard, and that's like a economy thing that they're bringing money in by doing like some kind of mythical tour. And I like, speaking of Korg as well, Korg's had a bit of a makeover because in Ragnarok we saw him and he was very similar to his comic book look in regards to what he wore, but now it almost looks like he's got a moustache. I'm not sure how true that is, but he's definitely got like the big Viking kind of furs and everything like that, which is really exciting. Because obviously last time we saw him, he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt and playing Fortnite.
And
so
also he would let himself go. He had all the moss over him and stuff like that over his rocks, and that was cool.
That's it. He has the goat pendant, which looks a lot like the goats that Thor has. He's got the goat pendant on his belt, on like the big belt piece, and he's got like a big throw around his top half and on the feet as well of the figure.
I really want him to be the goat tour guide now. Now that you said that.
Yeah, I wonder if he is, because that would tie into his kind of comedic character, wouldn't it?
Well, if you look to your left, you'll see where Asgard used to be, but now it's a pile of rocks. Speaking of pile of rocks, that's what I am, and I am your host, Korg.
Did you see the Deadpool Korg crossover
Yes.
they did? That was brilliant. That was fantastic.
That's a crossover I could get on board with.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Cool. Okay, so after that, what else did we get?
So from there, we moved into Marvel Fan First Monday. We got all that good stuff. So we had a lot to unpack from
Monday.
That was so heavy. And what I will say is that they were really forthcoming. Like they didn't hold back. Like the first thing, it wasn't the first thing it discussed, but naturally they've been talking about the 20th anniversary stuff, and everyone's been kind of speculating over, we're going to get Toad, blah blah. And they basically just said, Toad's coming, but we're not going to show him today, but he is coming. Like, and it was like, what? Like, that's just giving that away. Like, that's fine. But let's break it down. So just so that we don't take up the whole show talking about this, we had
break it down.
Spider-Man. They opened up by talking about Spider-Man. So it's a 60 year anniversary, and they showed us the logo in of what's going to be on the packages, and they've called it Beyond Amazing, which is nice because obviously Amazing Fantasy 15, etc. And the only kind of hint that they gave us was that we're going to get figures this year with this packaging at some point. And a lot of people were complaining, going, "Oh, look, it's the 20th anniversary of the first Spider-Man film. It's the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man. Like, why didn't they give us something?" But it is only March. Like, we're going into March. We've got the whole year that represents the anniversary. But straight from there, we went up and they showed us the Rhino, the retro Rhino, which is essentially a reissue of the Build-A-Figure without the shoulder pads, which is good because a lot of people dislike the shoulder pads. So they've kind of worked on that, but they've essentially just given us the Build-A-Figure, which I'm really happy about because I kind of made a prediction when they were going in with this retro stuff and I sold my Build-A-Figure. I was like, I don't care about having a gap in my collection because I was missing a leg. There was one leg that's really hard to come by. I think it's the one that comes with Ghost Rider, and he was literally missing a leg. So I always had him at the back without, you couldn't see his leg. And anytime I photographed him, I kind of done him at an angle so you couldn't tell that he was missing his leg. But it was a really hard one to get hold of because I think it was Ghost Rider that it came with, and because the Wave became so popular but was so scarce, the Build-A-Figure really fetched a high price. It was one of the more expensive Build-A-Figures, and I was kind of like, you know what, they're gonna do it. It's gonna come. They can't do the oversized packages, do all of these kind of characters that they're doing, and not do a Rhino. So when they showed it, I was like, yes, thank you. And the pre-orders went up for that on Pulse and various other places the next day. And I think something we've got to mention, and I don't know if you heard about this, but the price point here in the UK for that Rhino, either they're being really kind to us or someone made a massive mistake and switched 2 digits around.
$21.99, wasn't it? Or something went up at?
Well, on Pulse, it went up at $23.99. But ordinarily it's around the $32.99
$32.99 mark. Yeah, it's a deluxe.
So I put in the pre-order and I was like, yep, cool, that's fine. But the pre-orders on that sold out like instantly. And then there was people kind of saying, it's got to be a mistake. They're going to refund us. Like they're going to cancel them and stuff, because obviously Pulse don't take a deposit. They just, you have your pre-order and then they charge you at the time of dispatch. But then you look at all of the other retailers, like the independent retailers, they were all in and around that mark as well. So Comics and Cocktails, for example, was $24.99, which I can justify because they do free postage. So they've obviously put £1 on top to cover postage costs or whatever. And then various other retailers were all in and around that mark. And I think the lowest someone did it was $21.99. Rightfully said by yourself there, Sorrell. But no one's been refunded. Nothing's been cancelled. And the Americans have got it, and it's up at like the 30 something dollar mark. So somebody's either made a mistake or they're doing this thing, because the Venom one over here was higher priced than it was in the States. But we just assumed it was because of import, export, all that kind of stuff.
Maybe they're making up for it.
But yeah, I wonder whether this is a pattern that we're going to get. We'll get a higher priced one and then a lower priced one, or whether it really was just a case of somebody hadn't had their coffee that morning. They hit the 3 and the 2. They didn't realize. They've just
Someone's
kind of
looking at all the invoices and they go, "Oh, damn it, Daryl!"
Yeah, it's like, and he's just kind of put his phone on mute and he's not going to speak to anyone until next week. But it's a really cool figure. It's a much anticipated one, and one that I'm really pleased for so many collectors, especially newer collectors, because to fill out that Sinister Six, to fill out that kind of rogue gallery of villains is really quite difficult with some of the releases. So to have Rhino as a really low priced, to put it into perspective for anyone that's not familiar with the price point of Marvel Legends, is that they've released this builder figure size, so it's about 7.5 inches high. It's, as I say, it's usually about a 10 or more than the regular figures, and they've released it at the same price point as a standard figure. So you'll get your standard 6-inch figure at $21.99, and they've released this at $23.99, sorry, and you're getting this at $23.99. So yeah, happy days. The next one was the Future Foundation suit for Spider-Man, and this was included in the Beyond Amazing. We didn't see any packaging, we just saw the render, and they said that this was going to be included in that Beyond Amazing line. Interestingly enough, though, they've gone for the reversed coloring on it. So the Future Foundation is the Fantastic Four after Johnny Storm died and Spider-Man stepped in, and they kind of had these white, really cool white iconic suits. They had Thing, Miss Fantastic, Sue Storm, and Spider-Man, and they were the kind of the newer Fantastic Four, or the Future Foundation as they call themselves. And they're really cool suits. I mean, I've done a whole bunch of customs because they're a set that I wanted, and we've had Spider-Man many moons ago, back in 2012, I want to say, maybe a bit earlier. And nothing since. And so as soon as there was a rumor of Future Foundation, everyone expected that those floodgates were down. We're having Fantastic Four pumped out all the time. They're doing this Spider-Man, and then they released the stealth version, which is essentially the reversed colors. So what should be white is black, and what should be black is white. And everyone's kind of kicked off. Everyone's gone a bit mad. But all it says to me is that they're going to release a Future Foundation box set at some point. It's coming. It's coming. So
good mad or bad?
Yeah, that was
bad
cool.
mad.
No, kind of annoyed that we're not getting the white. It was one of them ones that on groups I saw a lot of the white, the older figure, go up for sale, leading into that Fan First Monday. And you can imagine there's quite a few people kicking themselves now, going, "Oh no, I've sold my white one and I've got a black one." So the next thing they showed us was a digital rendering of the next builder figure for the next What If wave, which is the Ultron from the What If series.
I saw that. I don't even collect Marvel Legends, but I think that as a one-off figure I would quite like. But obviously it's a builder figure. But that looked awesome.
I can't remember the name of him. What's his name in it? Is Supreme Ultron. Infinity. There you go. Yeah.
Infinity Ultron is the official name. But yeah, that again was a render, wasn't it? It weren't the official figure they showed us. It was just a render, wasn't it? But the fact that they're going to give us another what if wave, brilliant.
Yeah. Well, they've said that the Hawkeye and the Kate Bishop figures that we've seen previously, that a lot of us assumed was going to be a 2-pack, they've said are 2 of the figures that make up this next Disney Plus wave. So I'm sure there'll be a couple of what if figures like the last one, a couple of what if figures and a couple of figures from
Disney Plus.
Yeah, from the other shows. And we've got Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. So who else are they going to throw in? Agatha Harkness, maybe. Quicksilver, possibly. Monica Rambeau.
Only the dead one there in the
Last
flashback
time,
scene. Dead Quicksilver.
Yeah,
With the bullet holes in them.
last time they just gave us 2 MCU figures, didn't they? The rest were what the what if wave?
It was Loki and Sylvie. Yeah.
So this might be in that. Yes, in that style, they might do that again, where they're going to do Hawkeye and Kate, and then a bunch of what if figures, because everyone's still calling out for that Thor.
Yeah, there's loads of characters in that what if, isn't there? You got the Thor, you got the Captain Marvel, you've got the zombies. Yep. So
Zombie Iron Man's got to be on the cards. It's such an easy one for him to do.
Yeah, you would have thought. I mean, I did a custom of him, literally just doing a head. It was just, so it's so easy. So,
but build a figure Frost Giant Loki is on the cards though. Still,
I think this will be the last what if wave. I don't think they're going to drag it out to 3 waves. I think that this will be the last one.
Most season 2 coming now, haven't you?
No, I mean based on what we've had. I don't think they're going to do any more based on what we've had. Next series, then yeah, I think definitely, because they're really cool figures. I really enjoyed them. They've got their own unique place in your collection because they don't fit in comic book, they don't fit in MCU. They kind of fit somewhere in between. But that's the beauty of the kind of what if, I think.
Yeah, because they always do 2 waves, don't they? Because we've still got to see the announcement of what's going to come in Doctor Strange Wave 2. And Wave 1 was pretty good. So, I mean, Wave 2 is going to be awesome. And we still need to see the Wave 2 of Spider-Man yet. We've not had a Wave 2 for Spider-Man yet.
No. That was another thing as well that they opened up with. And they said that there's the Spider-Man figures are coming, but obviously they only found out certain stuff when we found it out. So they obviously saw it, all went back, and there was so much red tape. So I think we're going to see those.
They should have just gone to Tom Holland. They could have had all the details, got a head start on the figures.
Just listen to any of the interviews. What's another interesting thing as well that people are talking about is whether the Killmonger head that we got from the Black Panther wave will fit on this Build-A-Figure, or whether it'll be too small, because that would be cool, wouldn't it, to swap out the Killmonger head and that. So from there we went over to X-Men Animated, and they gave us 1 figure that also went up on pre-order the next day, and that was a Storm from a Pulse exclusive Storm, and I really like it. I think it's my favorite one. I think I pre-ordered it, I'm not sure, I'll have to go back and check, but it's just the thing that really stood out for me was the hair. Like that hair piece is brilliant. They really just encapsulated
what. Start playing in anyone else's head whenever they talk about X-Men Animated, like automatically.
That theme song is in my head at least once a day. Like it's just like a screensaver in the back of my head. And if I'm not thinking about anything else, I just hear that doom doom doom. But yeah. So that was a kind of the big one. And then as I said, they did talk about Toad. They said Toad is coming, so they've not shown him to us yet, but he is coming. So and that's in the 20th anniversary wave. And then the other thing that was announced was a full wave of figures, and this was the Avengers wave, and this one was kind of leaked and rumored, and I even did a TikTok on it, like saying that about a rumored wave, and every single figure on it was correct. So a very quick breakdown is you had Blue Marvel that we saw announced last week via the artwork, box art. We got the Alex Ross styled Iron Man, which is a pinless design, which I think looks epic. I think it looks really cool. And for the first time, I've been like, I don't even care that it's another Iron Man because it's that different that I'm cool with it. Speedball, which is one that obviously a lot of people have been asking for a long time. Madam Hydra, which is a figure that we've been well overdue an update for. And I'm not 100% sure on a hairdo.
It's silent repainted. Come on.
It really is. It's just completely. Yeah, completely. I do like the guns and the little kind of holsters and stuff that she's got, though. One that I was really excited for was the US Agent figure. So that's one that's so long overdue because we had that back in, I want to say 2011 again, but around that time. And this one is being done on the more up-to-date Captain America body, so similar to the 80th anniversary and stuff. And it just looks really cool. Just looks mean. It just looks how US Agents should be. They've done Quake, which I was really excited for. So a comic accurate Quake. I was kind of hoping for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. version, but, they didn't give it to us. But a comic accurate Quake, which comes with an alternate head, which can double up as a comic accurate Maria Hill, which is cool. So I've got 2 of them on the way because I have to have both characters. But what's really nice as well is they've just given us that S.H.I.E.L.D. builder figure, the army builder, sorry, which is all the male bodies. And now we've got a female S.H.I.E.L.D. agent body as well out there. So for anybody that's sort of building up a S.H.I.E.L.D. collection, there's that variety. So we got a Quake stroke Maria Hill. And then we got a Thor with his Ravens, which is based on the Donny Cates artwork. So the Herald of Galactus Thor, which obviously ties in with their recent HasLab project. And rightfully so, as so many people have pointed out, it's the Fortnite Thor.
The guy from Fortnite.
It's the Fortnite Thor. With a slight variation. I actually did a video on this on TikTok because Mjolnir is very different. So in a Donny Cates comic book, Mjolnir is made up of electricity and made up of his sort of thunder power. And in Fortnite, it wasn't. He just had Mjolnir. So yes, it is, but no, it isn't. And the 2 ravens that were Odin's ravens that you see in the MCU, you see those ravens around Odin. And obviously they can then go, they've got names as well, but I'm not going to try to pronounce them. But then when Thor took over, he inherited those ravens. So it's kind of a 3-pack, if you want to count those ravens as something. But it did anger me because I was like, how can you give us 2 ravens with Thor, but still no Red Wing with Falcon? You're giving us 2 birds with 1 figure. And the builder figure for that was the controller, which is not an overly familiar or common character, but he's built on the Thanos comic book that we just got. And it is literally a repaint of that figure with a new head and new hand sculpts. And then the only other thing that they said during the live that I found really exciting, and they always do a tease as well, and all they showed us was a flask, like a science like experiment flask, there's a name for them, but the kind of triangle flasks. And a lot of people were saying that's fine, I'll do it. Take me to the dance floor, and this is my moves. But a lot of people are saying Beast from the animated series, which would be a great call because we need a Hank with that head sculpt. A lot of people are saying things like Spider-Man because of obviously the scene that we had in No Way Home where they're doing all the science experiments, and Mr. Fantastic and stuff like that. But I think Beast is probably a good shout. And before I stop talking, and then we'll talk about it all, but the last thing they mentioned was that Moon Knight is coming out, and there are going to be legends that support that show. So whether that's a full wave, whether that's a single figure or whatever, but the Moon Knight that we've seen in the trailers, we are going to get figures to complement it. So there we go. That's Monday's Fan First in a nutshell. Let's discuss.
Bloody large nutshell.
It's a big one, isn't it? Yeah.
So looking at, because like I've got the still on the screen from Toy Arc, and obviously the box art that's inside of it obviously is usually a good way of looking at stuff, and it looks like, I don't know the place. It's where Abraham Lincoln's statue sits in that big building with the big pillars.
Oh yeah.
It looks like that because like the top of the building's got the writing on. It's got the 2 big pillars and then a giant chair just in the background. So it's like it's hinting towards something like Captain America-ish. Could that be the super soldier serum?
Oh,
in the vial? Could this be like something to do with another Captain America thing? Or
I'm gonna have to go and do my research in my comic books and see if there's any hint towards that.
Or I could be completely off the mark, and it could be some form of just a big like jail cell. But yeah, there's definitely like Roman style pillars, like them proper big old school, big like.
That's interesting. I never dive too deep into the hints at the end because they're always something a bit of a curveball. Like the last one was that barrel, and that was for the Bone Breaker builder figure, and no one called that. Everyone was,
Could be a Doc Connors before he's lizardified.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. It could be a retro lizard, but like you say, the box isn't a retro box. It,
No.
you know, unless it's just not the box it comes in. It's just a bit of cardboard he's
That
picked
could be
up.
random, yeah.
Yeah.
Or what if they got the wrong image by accident? That'd be hilarious.
Do you want to know something fun about that Avengers Wave?
Go on in.
That was due out about a year ago during the height of the pandemic.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
wave
that's
was, I was meant to reveal the Madam Hydra figure.
Really? Wow.
I've still got the email from the guys at Hasbro that this was the wave that eventually was originally going to be sent out, I think, to creators. Because I got asked ages ago, would I like to reveal a figure that is what do they call her? They called her the mistress of something, and they told me to go look it up, and it was Madam Hydra. And then I remember getting a message from Whoosh saying, "Have you had an email from them?" And I said, "Yeah," and he had a US agent. So
nice. Well, interestingly enough,
there
was two creators, and I can't remember off the top of my head who they were, but who had Iron Man and Speedball. That their videos went out the next day, and they said on the live, so and so and so and so we're going to be looking at these, and you'll have an in-hand look tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it was just those two randomly, just Iron Man and Speedball were the ones, and they tied in with the creators who reviewed them. I can't remember. I feel bad for saying it now, but I'll jot it down in the comments. But
yeah, that wave was due out a long time ago. This was meant to be the wave that we all revealed basically at one point.
That's why the rumors on it were so strong, because people had picked up on it so long ago, and obviously just the evidence had been supported along the way. So yeah, that's interesting.
Even tell us.
Right. But no, it was a really strong Marvel First Monday, Marvel Fan Monday. And what sits at the back of my head is what Steve said when he came on the show, and he said there's going to be over 100 figures next year. And when you actually add that up, that's not even 20. So you times that by 5, and we're still not even at the full mark of what we're going to get this year.
You are going to be really tight for money this year, by the sounds of it.
Mate, nah. I'll just put my kids to work. It's fine. No, we're good. We're okay. But the interesting thing as well is that they also addressed what we spoke about when it comes to distribution and the date thing. So we've discussed that on previous shows, and they did say that everything is taking longer. So it was kind of addressed, where a lot of the others, to my knowledge, a lot of the other panels hadn't addressed. They just kind of said, this is coming out here. This is coming out here. Yeah, but I think it was fun. It was a good watch. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, the thing that I picked up on, which I'm obviously now we've had the fan first Monday for Hasbro, it's kind of helped a lot. Because after the Star Wars one, everyone was like, well, all these figures aren't due out until next year. All the figures on the Star Wars panel were like a year in advance. So everyone in the Star Wars community started going, well, is there no figures this year? It's like, of course there's going to be figures. Just we're only in February. Give them a chance to get the reveals out. It's because we had so much towards the end of last year. Everything came at us like a barrel, didn't it? Everything just came at once. So I think they're just they've known they've done that. They've given us a bit of breathing space, and now we're going to start seeing things drop again. Coming in March, April, May, we'll start seeing the drops again now, I think. Yeah,
no, I agree. And it feels like they almost kind of went, like they've kind of gone as far back as they can and kind of gone, this is what's coming here, here, and here. But yeah, I was pleased with it. The only thing that it didn't include, which normally wouldn't have fazed me, but there was no 3 3/4 inch reveal. So we know that Series 5 is coming with Venom and Wolverine and stuff, but there was no kind of reveal of what's next or what the next one is. Which I was surprised about. I thought we might see that.
It's going to be a quieter year, though, remember? They said that because they weren't sure about the legs of it.
That's true.
It was going to be a quieter year, but they said it's been such a good success that after this year, it will be picking up again. So 2023, we'll probably see a stronger amount of... I'm saying like a weather report. So, early on in 2021, it was good, but, we weren't sure about 22. That's really brought a cold front to the wave side of things. But you're going to see a real strong cross breeze coming back into 2023, and we'll hopefully see that just getting stronger then. Back to you, Jay.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Yeah, no, but it was a good panel. It was a good panel, and I was excited about all of it. Everything that came out, kind of, I was like, oh, no, this is, there was none that came out. Oh, piece of but there was none that came out that I was kind of like, oh, I could have done without that, or I'm not interested in that. Like every single one of them, I was excited about, and so it just felt like kind of almost like the old kind of panels where it was like we were just being shown a whole ton of stuff that just fell across all different collections and franchises and stuff. So yeah, I was really
love
pleased
that you're concerned about the 3 3/4 inch now.
I was there.
Your journey towards the dark side is now complete.
Mate, at time of recording, there are only 2 figures that I need to complete every released figure now.
See, that's how you fund the Death Star. You do a Marvel mini line. Even the sickness bastards will get that.
It's just a really cool line. I'm sold. Can't wait for Series 5.
Work here is done.
So speaking of retro, the next thing that kind of segues into that was the Star Wars retro collection that got announced the day after, which was Dengar and IG-88 were revealed as an Amazon exclusive 2-pack. Although the price point, $27.99 for 2 little 5POA figs. That didn't go down too well. But yes, it does. They do look very nice. They are coming individually card backed. Well, they're not in one pack. They're coming individually packed in one box. So I'm wondering whether they're going to give us the it'll come to me. Hang on. Forlom and Zuckus. I wonder if they'll do them in the same style with the wrong names on the boxes, like they did for Black Series.
See, me and my friend Dave were talking about this the other day because we are really excited. I said about obviously they're going to do the bounty hunters, and he made a really good point. They might not, because Zuckus had a leatherette type coat as well as the pauldron. The leatherette coat might be the thing that stops that from happening, because they just don't seem to. They seem to avoid those figures, with extra the potential bit. Like they didn't want to do the chroming stuff for 3PO and R2. So you think about it. I have a feeling that what we might see is maybe Forlom and Bosk, and Zuckus just won't get a retro. I'm surprised by Dengar, because Dengar's so easy figure to get. I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but that is one that's always still only £1 or 2. You go to like Nerd Base, you pick him up in the pound bucket. The IG-8 makes total sense, because obviously they use the mold as the base for IG-11 in the Mando retro line, so it makes total sense repainting it. But to be honest, the fact that the Star Wars retro line has still got life, that's the main thing for me, because I really like that line. And the more new retro stuff they do, like the Mando Wave 2 looks so good, and I'm waiting for that Book of Boba retro line.
I'm waiting for them to start doing the Empire stuff so I can get some Ewoks to go with my vintage Ewok village. That's what I want.
You're gonna buy all the Ewoks. All the Ewoks will be in.
Anything to do with Ewoks and Jawas, those are my thing in Star Wars. They're the 2 alien races that I'll buy everything of. That's why I've got the Sandcrawler. I've got every little Ewok going. I've got every little Jawa going. Anything they release of those 2 creatures are mine. All of it. From there we kind of moved into the multiverse sort of stuff.
Yep.
And there was a hell of a lot to unpack for the multiverse. So they did the Winter Showcase at McFarlane, showing off all their stuff they've got coming out. And the first one that they showed was the Flash Season 7 figure teaser. So they showed off the new suit and stuff that he'll be wearing in Season 7 of the Flash as a McFarlane figure. Then it was.
I'm surprised it's still got a series as well. I'm surprised that it's still, because I kind of fell off of that. I really loved it, and I kind of fell off.
Still going.
I used the Crisis to jump off the CW.
Yeah, see, I came off shortly after that as well, but I did watch the series afterwards, The Flash. But yeah, I'm surprised that it's still at the level where they're producing figures, if that makes sense. But it is their big kind of runner, isn't it now?
Nice.
Yeah.
That was a pun you didn't even mean to.
No, I waited. I just subtly looked down, waited. Did anyone get? You got it. Yeah. Sorry.
Then Godspeed. I don't know who that is, to be honest. Godspeed got announced, and I'm just clicking previous page to keep going on my little list. Website can't keep up with it. Then they had a little break. So that was day 1. They released those 2 figures as day 1, basically. Then they had, I'm just going through because all my things are in the wrong order now. Then McFarlane released the Spawn Overkill Mega Action figures. Which again, if you're into Spawn, that looks cool. But I'm not massively into Spawn, to be honest.
No, I kind of fell off.
The new film.
But I'm looking forward to the new film. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the film.
I like the original one. It's great.
I do like the original one.
I didn't mind it either. I'm not going to lie.
The animated film is really good. If you get a chance to watch that as well, I can recommend that one.
So there was a bunch of other like spawns. There was Ninja Spawn, Haunt, Raven Spawn, Overkill Megafig, and then the deluxe figure set. Those were the main ones from that. Then we got into the good stuff. So then they gave us the DC Multiverse DMN Duke Thomas, the Joker, Dragon, Infected Batman, and Unmasked Arkham Knight Batman as well. All of them look awesome. That weird Joker Dragon looks insane.
Yeah.
What is
from the Batman Ninja?
I have no idea. I don't remember that being in the cartoon though.
What, the Batman Ninja cartoon?
Yeah, I don't remember that dragon being in it, but I may have to go back and watch it now.
Was he in a giant mech maybe or something?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Yeah, same. I did enjoy it. It was really off the wall and left field, but it was good.
Then they gave us some like the bigger figures that they're going to be releasing. So we're going to be getting another Killer Croc from Arkham Knight, which is good because that original Killer Croc for the DC Direct is so hard to come by, and when you do come by it, it's stupidly expensive on the secondhand market. Yeah, we're getting a new Man Bat as well. Just based on his regular comic book variant, though, it's not anything from Arkham Row. And then we've got the Future State DC Multiverse Ghost Maker. I'm not familiar with that character, but it's a big thing. And then the news that Jake is kind of waiting to discuss and he's like on edge about it is the DC Page Punchers. McFarlane's getting in on the 5 POA.
I've just got into a new 3 3/4 inch line. I'm not going to jump into another. But with that said,
I bet you do.
The idea of picking up.
You said that last time.
You said this before. You're going to so get all of them.
There are a couple. I'm not going to get all of them, but there are a couple. Even if it's just like a Justice League to have like a Justice League.
This is how you started. You did this about a month ago. You went, I'm not going to get them all. Just a few that can pose with my legends.
Let's go back to the Batman versus Superman trailer. So it starts. The rage.
I am. No, it will depend how they look. It will depend how they look. It will depend on their paint applications as well. Because although it's nice to have, like we were saying, to have all of these figures kind of in the same scale across all the different franchises, if the application on them isn't as well executed as it is with Hasbro, they won't look good together, in my opinion. I'm a bit too OCD like that. So
I love the fact that he's including them in like a clamshell card back, so you can put them back, so you can get the figure out, look at it, play with it, mess with it, but then put it back with the comic book in the nice packaging.
It's very clever, and it's got comic book as well with it, which is it's kind of right in the nostalgia of figures used to come with comic books. You know, that was a lot of, you know, back in your Toy Biz days, you know, you'd get all your legends with comic books and stuff. So
even
that's kind of hitting.
Even a couple of early Hasbro ones. I've got a couple of the early Hasbro 3/4 inch ones that came with comic books. I've got Lady Thor came with the comic book, and so did a bunch of the Star Wars ones.
That was the Universe line that they did.
Comic packs.
I think so. Yeah,
Star Wars ones. Yeah, the Universe comic packs were amazing.
Yeah,
but it's that in itself is kind of a nostalgic punch as well. You know, actually, we're going to give you these kind of 5 POA figures. We're going to give them to you in the clamshells that you can open and close, but we're also going to throw in a comic book that ties into that figure. Is a very, very clever move, and it's something that the competition isn't doing. So it does set them apart.
They know what they're doing. Have you seen the comic books they've chosen as well?
Yeah, it's all very.
They know what they're doing. So like they've got Flashpoint #1 with Flash, just as the new film's about to drop. Batman #1, it begins here. Batman. So they've got like the official original Batman comic reprinted, all with variant covers. Oh, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Is there a date on them though? That's one thing I didn't pick up on. It just said coming soon, didn't he?
Yeah, no official date, but they're going to be a combo. The combo will be around $9.99 US. I mean, that's a good price point. That's a damn good price point. $9.99.
Yeah. That's
you get a comic book and a figure.
Undercuts all the competition.
It does, and you have to sort of make sure like you don't price more than the ones that we're doing, because obviously, you know, Hasbro bought their Marvel Retro Collection, which probably doesn't come with the comic book, but you know, you can't. People won't see that bit if it's more expensive than that. People will just go, "That's more expensive." They won't look at the pack comes with a comic book and that. So it's quite smart.
But to upset you all, they're not going to scale with your Hasbro products. They're not going to
They're
scale.
not.
These are going to be between 2.5 to 3 inch scale.
Oh, well,
So they're not 375. So then they're going to be too small. They're going to be too short and skinny.
That's right then. I know.
In that case, I'm out then. That's stupid.
Yeah,
That's annoyed me. That's annoyed me.
That's the same scale that Spin Master make, isn't it? Spin Master do it's 2.5 to 3 inch, because the 3 inch figures are like your Killer Crocs and your Man Bats. They're like the 3 inch higher end ones, and then the smaller figures like your Robins usually about 2 inch, 2.5. So they're doing that whole Spin Master style.
Easy choice for me then. I am out. Not interested in that.
Hey, look at what scale's been working for years, since like the 70s. Maybe we could do that. Nah, don't worry about that. We'll just chuck it in.
Knock an inch off.
Yeah, just a fraction. We'll just shave a little off the top.
Just enough to annoy people. Ryan, what are you building? I just keep seeing an odd wing come up and come on, show us.
Well, because we'll do the show and tell later.
Okay, all right. Ryan's busy putting his project. That is putting his project together. Someone didn't do that.
The final thing of the week that really got me excited, I shared it with you guys, was Super 7 sharing the Ultimate Disney Wave 3. They are going to town on this Disney Wave. We haven't even got a single figure in hand yet, and they're already on Wave 3. So they're completing the Fantasia line by giving us the alligator from Fantasia. They're completing the Alice in Wonderland line by giving us the Evil Queen, the Queen of Hearts. Randomly, we're getting Stitch. Stitch always sells. But the one that really got me excited, though, Big Bad Wolf.
Yeah,
proper old school. That is so old school. I just hope they do a 3-pack with the 3 little pigs in next, because that is like nostalgic to me. I love that cartoon, and every time I go to Disney, it's so rare to see that character in the parks now, because he's such an old school figure.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the 3 pigs 3-pack came soon.
Okay, with the 3-pack,
yeah, it's got to do really, but it is nice though, because like I think with stuff like this, like, while it is a big nostalgia thing, like Super 7 and these Ultimates, it's clever because people who sort of know Disney really well might not necessarily know some of the older stuff. So when they see a figure like Big Bad Wolf, it's really nice because they'll probably go back and discover some of Disney's history, and there's still some really wonderful, lovely classic Disney stuff. There, and it sort of gets lost a bit to time. Like even things like in the 90s, like the Rescuers, bless them, they get a bit lost in the old times, and Rescuers Down Under, great films.
What makes me really excited about that line is that it could potentially open up a whole new wave of collectors, because there'll be people that would be like strict Disney fans that wouldn't invest their money in like statues and stuff, but would invest the money in the figures to have them as a display. And then obviously we know how it works. One thing leads to another, and then all of a sudden you're collecting 3 3/4 inch. But it's that's what interests me about it.
I think when the Robin Hood figure gets in hand, I think a lot of people jump on the line, because Robin Hood is nostalgic for a lot of people. That cartoon is most people's childhood. The moment they start making more modernized figures, I mean, like, come on, imagine if they made the proper, fully articulated with loads of accessories for like Aladdin, Hercules, characters like that. That would sell massively. I've said this so many times.
He's got to come with that scar, head scar,
with the throw thing. That's the cool thing. If you look at like the Big Bad Wolf one they've made, you've got 4 heads with this one figure, 4 heads to give him, and they've put the dress for the old granny and stuff. They've given him literally every accessory from all the cartoons that he's ever been in, which is insane.
That's brilliant.
There's so much opportunity there for that line. It's insane.
Yeah, no, that is exciting. And can you say as well, there's been a Buzz Lightyear figure announced for?
So Buzz Lightyear as well on the Good Morning America program with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it was a Hasbro Disney panel, and she basically went down a line, the presenter from Good Morning America, and they showed off the new Buzz Lightyear, from the movie Lightyear that's coming out. It was the movie version of Buzz. It's the same sort of 12-inch Buzz we've had for years, but it's all completely redecoed, repainted. He's got new wings. Doesn't say Andy on his foot though anymore, obviously, that because a lot of people are saying, I wonder what it says on his foot. Didn't say anything. But yeah, they've got that figure coming out, and it's got Chris Evans' voice for the first time, obviously, as well now. No longer.
That's cool. That's cool. Bit sad, but it's cool in the same way.
And then the big one for me was Kenobi. They showed the Kenobi lightsabers from lightsaber forge series,
Mhm.
the buildable lightsabers, and they showed it was definitely the new Kenobi ones because it had the Ewan McGregor style Kenobi, sort of older, and a new Darth Vader one, a new Darth Vader lightsaber. So,
is that going to tie into the show? Like, are we, how's that going to work? Are they
well, it
giving
must do because
anything away?
we've never seen. Obviously, if you think back, Anakin loses his lightsaber. Obi-Wan Kenobi takes it from him at the end of Revenge of the Sith. So he must build a new lightsaber and get a new kyber crystal. And we've never even thought about that. Obviously, he gets the new lightsaber he builds Darth Vader's lightsaber. He must have to go and get a new crystal and everything from Mustafar, and that's going to be an awesome story in itself to maybe discover in the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series how he gets his new saber.
Because the other thing is as well is because like in A New Hope when Vader's talking to Tarkin and everything like that about his presence I've not felt since he doesn't specifically say since he left me to die on Mustafar. They could have easily had another battle or something, but since then, and he could be like, I've not seen him since I beat the shit out of him on Tatooine or something like that, or I don't know, something like that. And you could think Obi-Wan was dead or not sure he was dead. Maybe this is the thing. The twist is going to be that a bit of a revenge thing, like maybe Vader defeats Kenobi and leaves him like Kenobi left Vader in Revenge of the Sith.
Maybe that's why he goes by the name Ben. Maybe there's a bit of amnesia there. He's just
exciting,
really hard.
He'll never find me with my name Ben.
Did you see some of the leaked kind of rumors of what the TV series is going to entail? Do you see some of that?
No.
Again, take it with a pinch of salt. It's the internet, but there's a lot of rumors around that it's going to have Bail Organa in it. Apparently, he's back.
Sense.
We're going to see a young Leia, and the story is going to revolve around Obi-Wan Kenobi having to do a job for Bail Organa, tying into the whole "you used to work with my father in the Clone Wars," the whole message from A New Hope. This is going to be that mission they did together, supposedly. Then there's supposedly Inquisitors are going to be in this program.
That's cool.
And everyone instantly jumped on the Grand Inquisitor. Grand Inquisitor's dead. He wouldn't be around at this point. He's already gone. So at this point in the storyline, it could only be the fourth brother or the seventh sister.
Or one we haven't seen yet.
But how cool would it be if this was Sarah Michelle Gellar's live action appearance as the seventh sister?
It would be
because
awesome.
she's still in enough shape to do it. She's not ancient, is she? She could
That
still
would be
do the
very
suit.
cool.
And even if it was just a stunt actress doing the moves and she just put the voice to it, because you're so used to her voice in that character. But it would be awesome to see her in live action. Imagine her that would be the pop moment for me when she takes that thing off and it's Sarah Michelle Gellar under there.
That'd be really cool.
What I think would be really cool as well is one character that I've been waiting to come back is Barriss Offee. Because Barriss Offee, obviously, in the Clone Wars series, turns Sith and then gets arrested. But you know what happens to her after that? 'Cause, I mean, previous to the Clone Wars series, she was killed off and then that got made uncanon. And then suddenly the TV show made her turn Sith and everything. So, but you don't know what happens to her. And I've always said that I think because there was a big thing about her in Ahsoka, maybe she could come back in the Ahsoka series older. But what's she been doing this whole time? Like, she got arrested, but would the Emperor maybe turn her into an Inquisitor? Because I always thought the sister was actually Barriss Offee for a while, and then it turned out it wasn't.
The
end of a story.
Sometimes they don't like to tell us these things. It's like pretty much if you watch the end of Clone Wars, you see the Emperor kill Savage Opress and then severely eradicate Darth Maul with lightning and says, "I have a plan for you." And then the next time we see him, he's back on the throne in Mandalore, it's as if that fight never happens in season 7. So sometimes they just don't explain things.
Space magic.
And then from there he disappears for a while and then comes back as a whittled old man in Rebels. Ooh, Ezra, I need help, Ezra. They don't explain.
I really like that version. I'm not gonna lie. I really like that version. There's something very creepy about him. But yeah, no, that's very, very cool. I suppose, and that kind of ties us into the last real big talking point, and that's what the old Galactic Tour. What's it called?
So the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Star Cruiser, that's it. Galactic Star
Basically,
Cruiser.
the £1,000 or $1,000 a night hotel built in Hollywood studios as a part of Galaxy's Edge. They had their press event this week and showed off all the inside of the hotel. And people got to stay for 4 hours and experience the entertainment and things like that, and what it would entail being on board. What do I say? It looks cheesy. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, the fact that there's so much you're forced into the story to me is a bit too far.
It's just like a really big murder mystery weekend.
Basically,
like it is, isn't it? It's like a Disney Star Wars murder mystery weekend.
Admittedly, I am into, I love cosplaying, I love Dungeons and Dragons, I love the whole role play thing. But if I'm paying that much money, I thought the idea of this hotel was I can go to the cantina and chill out there and play sabacc, and then I can get some drinks and I can chat with other Star Wars fans, maybe watch one of the films in the theater with them all. Maybe then it's just a themed hotel with food and stuff. Maybe a few shows, a little something going on. No, this is like full on. The First Order invades the ship within the first 10 minutes of you being on board and interrogates you for about 20 minutes in a room on your own with a bunch of other cast members. It's like, this is a bit much.
I wonder if does everyone arrive at the same time then, or are they just constantly restarting the story every time?
So basically everyone gets welcomed on board. It's imagine like a cruise ship. So everyone kind of gets on board, and then once everyone's, because they know how many people, I think it's 200 people at any one time can be on board this thing, because there's not that many rooms by the looks of it. So like there's about 200 people ish, and basically they got everyone in like the atrium area that was part of this press event in like the main hall. And the woman came on who's the captain, who was featured in the comic book, all painted in blue. She looks very cool, and did the whole opening spiel. Welcome to the Galactic Star Cruiser. And then all of a sudden you hear the dun, 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 music like cheesy Star Wars, and in come the stormtroopers and halt. We're here to capture rebels, and then it just starts from there. And this whole story just starts unfolding. And the fact that you've just got on board, you're kind of like, can I get to my room first? Nope.
I'm sold. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't pay that much money to be involved, but it's just an immersive Star Wars experience. And surely for most fans, it's not the kind of thing that I'd go to with family. Do you know what I mean? It's the kind of thing that you'd go and do on your own. Do you know what I mean? It's, I'm going to go away for a couple of nights. I'm going to go and do this. Like,
I have been actually in a very similar situation to what you're describing with Star Wars. So, I'm saying, wait, just to picture it. So, twin sons, a house appears, a boy runs out, and then, no, I'm joking.
Is that what you were making?
No, that's not what I was making. I just happened to have the house to hand, as don't you, weirdos. I went to the Star Wars Secret Cinema experience.
Yes.
So, obviously, don't know if you've ever been to one. Like, I know, Jake, you're very familiar with them because you went to the Back to the Future one and stuff like that. But like, Ash, have you ever been to them? So the Secret Cinema thing is basically where you go into a film to watch a film. So your phones get sealed away in special pockets, so no one can have their phones out, take it somewhere. You basically have to just be in this thing.
It's encouraged that you dress up, isn't it? Like,
yeah. So you kind of go in there. So the Star Wars Secret Cinema one was for Empire Strikes Back. But what happens is, so the first sort of bit, you go into this sort of warehouse type thing, and you're being smuggled to Alderaan with the rebels and everything like that on the ship, and then the ship gets hijacked by the Imperials, and they make you land on Tatooine. So while they're searching the ship, you have to go around Tatooine. You have to basically barter your way to get through things. And the actual inside of it I was on Tatooine. It was incredible. Like, but same kind of thing. All the actors will accost you, and they will treat you just as if you're in Star Wars. So going around it was Tatooine and like that, and they had all the houses. I traded with Jawas. I went into the cantina. I ended up being the guy. I ended up being Ponda Baba in that scene because they're actually live acting the first film. So I actually got stuck there as Boba Fett walking around and stuff like that. So I got into that scene, and then eventually what happens is we go to get on the other shuttle, and it gets taken over by the Death Star, and the Death Star is in an old print works, but it's up there, and they actually make everyone line up like prisoners, and they had all the stormtroopers, and you can actually see like in the little bits in the windows, like like Vader talking to Tarkin and stuff like that. Actually, there carries on a bit. The next thing you know, they sort of make all these big noises, and they get everyone to sort of stand in the middle. They do the whole Death Star trench above your head. A full-size X-wing goes through it, shoots fireworks down the middle of this thing, which then blows up the Death Star. the X-wing lands. The pilot Luke Skywalker comes out. He's been in the X-wing the whole time. They didn't do the end ceremony, and then the bit you're all standing there, you didn't realize you're the crowd at the end of the Yavin ceremony at the end of the film when they get their medals, and then the doors open, and then you go and watch Empire Strikes Back. While you're watching Empire Strikes Back, it's all being acted out in front of you as well. So when it's like Imperial troops have entered the base, there's actual snowtroopers running around, and then the lightsaber fight. He actually falls from the thing, and it's incredible. But you basically are just bombarded. You are in it from the beginning. I was there for I think it's like 6-7 hours I was there, but it was one of the greatest times of my life. I absolutely loved it. And Imperials give you a lot of crap for it. They get right up in your face and and stuff like that. And the rebels are, it's frustrating trying to talk to aliens in an alien language and stuff. It's weird, but it was so immersive and incredible that I'm now a bit more excited about the hotel thing, that I know it is an immersive thing.
That is cool. That is cool.
Unseen.
I've been kind of looking at it, and to be fair, as much as I'm saying about, I am probably going to go. Let's be honest. Yeah. I'm a massive Star Wars geek. Me and my wife have already had the conversation of I'm probably going to try and book for later in the year, and probably go on a solo trip for 7 days and do the 3 nights in the hotel, and then do a couple of days in the park. My bike just solo myself, do some Star Wars stuff. But but I'll probably go. But it just sounds a bit too much to me. But we'll see.
It's
might be different when you're in on it.
Hey, Disney, when you're in what would be a good idea? Sponsor 3 guys to go and experience it and maybe film it. Right?
Well, what Disney did, mate, and I'm going to be honest, the only person they actually invited out who, in my opinion, has anything to say about Star Wars was Jedi News. They invited Jedi News out, which is I like the guys from Jedi News. They're from London, and they're always at every con going. They're really nice guys, so I trust what they say when they're saying about it. But the other people that were there were I'm not sure if you've ever watched any of these vloggers that are from Orlando, but it was these guys the Tim Tracker and all these well-known YouTubers from Orlando who are not Star Wars fans really. They're more into the theme park thing, so they were reviewing it from a theme park standpoint.
Not a Star Wars fan.
Not a Star Wars. Yeah, if for something like that, I would have thought getting people that are the Star Wars big nerds, get them guys in to review it, because that's what you want in it.
Yeah, no,
not
definitely.
A bunch of people going, the bed's not quite spongy enough. Who gives a crap about the bed?
I'd completely forgotten about the secret cinema things. And now you've reminded me of it. It's made me more excited about the idea of this Star Wars, because as you say, I did the Back to the Future one, and it was very different, but the same. So you kind of you went into the 50s, and you were in the film, you went back to the future, future to the back, I don't know, but it was just you were there, you were in the town, and the cars drive around, you could eat at the diner, and you legitimately went and bought food at the diner, and you had your lunch and stuff. But then as you were kind of just you could go into all the shops and stuff, it was really weird, really, really weird. You just kind of walked into this 50s town that you were familiar with, and as you were there, you're in the diner having your burger and chips, whatever, and or your burger and fries, and then there's a scene acting out around you, and then there's you can see bits of the film taking place around you and stuff. And there was even a bit as well where you went into a bar, and there was a door to the left, and you went through, and it took you through to the 80s, and you're in a completely different time frame. But they encouraged you to dress up in kind of 50s garb and stuff, and then you watch the film on the square, on the clock tower. It's projected onto the clock tower, and you're all just kind of sat there watching the film. But then they act it out around you. So then Doc slides down at the end, and it was just brilliant. And it's not something that I've done, but it made me want to go to more. But I haven't been to any of the others because they've got more and more popular.
I've done Moulin Rouge. That was amazing.
That was the only one I was tempted by.
Stranger Things was incredible. I didn't know how it was going to work on a TV show, but it worked. It was incredible. Weirdly, the guy who played Hopper got really attached to me and just kept being like, Ryan, come on, let's do this. And I was like, I got basically taken around. I didn't get to explore on my own, I think, for the whole thing. I was just with him. And I was like, hey, Harper, could I bring my wife? Because she's been on her own for an hour. I bring poor Caroline. Just be like, can I bring my wife? But, they are incredible. When they did the Blade Runner one, and he said
That wasn't even Hopper. Wasn't even someone that worked there. It was just someone took Hey Ryan, come on! I need you to come and look in the back of my truck.
No, that was 6 hours in a police station afterwards. I did not need to spend. But that
was not part of the experience, right?
No, I just said it was a stranger thing that happened to me. My mate did the Blade Runner one, and they actually give you umbrellas and tells you when it's going to rain and stuff like that, and it was full on.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The only one that I don't think I've ever done like that is when I went to Orlando and it was called Tina and Tony's Wedding, and it was a dinner show thing, and you basically were the people that were from the wedding, and it was the wedding dinner sort of thing. And it was cool. You were a part of a wedding reception, and it was like a mafia family marrying into like a Japanese Yakuza family. It was the funniest thing on the planet. It was all stereotypical, but it was funny. And there was like the 20-year-old woman that was married to the old mafia boss, but flirted with every guy in the room kind of thing. And all these characters just acting out around you. It was mental. Like the vicar turned up and like fell asleep at the side of my mum and put his face in the apple pie and just fell asleep. And he stayed there for about an hour, just face down in this apple pie. Like, what is going on? I always find things like that really awkward. As much as I love I love like Dungeons and Dragons and Star Wars role playing things like that, but I always find it so damn awkward doing these kind of things. Like when I go to the theme parks and the characters ask you something, I'm like, I'm gonna stop talking now.
Yeah, I think that's what's probably so good about this particular hotel is because the people that you're there with are all going to be so immersed in it, and because you've paid the entry and stuff. Like no one's going to half-ass it. Everyone's going to be like completely in it.
You're encouraged beforehand to make up a character, to make your own story, and basically all the characters will act to you. If like basically you have to declare before you get on board whether you're like rebel or empire or whatever.
Just make up something. I'm Darth Vader's son. What? No, you can't. No, I am Darth Vader's son.
It's not that in depth.
He's not in the canon. He's not in the films. He is. It's me.
So if you put on the thing you're a smuggler in the galaxy, when the First Order see you and they scan your magic band, it comes up on their thing saying that you're a smuggler. It's like the First Order troopers will like sort of say something about that to you. It's not as in depth as like what you think. You'd be like, so that they know that you're a smuggler. It's like, we're watching you. We know you've been smuggling stuff out of Endor. You know, they'll make a comment like that, like something random. But it's just the idea to keep you kind of in character.
Just go dressed as Darth Vader and see what they do. Or as like Obi-Wan Kenobi, just to see how they react and just fully commit to it. Yeah, just 100%. Like, and then when Darth Vader comes out, imposter, like just mess it up for everyone.
Never take off the helmet because they'll never know it's you. And then you can be like, I never turned up for the weekend. Can I get a refund? And they'll be like, but you were there. And like, did you see my face? And I wasn't there.
Sadly, you can't wear helmets, mate. There's a Disney strike, and you can't wear any character cosplay that already exists, basically.
No, so they have put that. That's
they have got rules in place. They have got rules in place.
My idea. No,
what about
of course so.
Chad Fader, night assistant.
They encourage lightsabers. They encourage you to bring a blaster. Obviously, it can't look too realistic, but as long as
weapons are fine, if you want a helmet.
Oh, if you really want to mess them up, go as a Spaceballs character. Just turn up as like one of the characters from Spaceballs and see how they react to that.
My dad.
Even better, go as Indiana Jones and just pick up everything. Go, it belongs in a museum.
My dad was taking the mick out of me this week, and he said he would love to go and just dressed as Mr. Spock. And just keep raising his eyebrow. People are going, this is very illogical.
Someone will do that. That will happen in its lifetime. Someone will dress up as Star Trek.
That would be very funny. That'd be very funny. Now I'm sold. Even just from this conversation, it's something that I'd love to do at some point. I think even just as a bonus, like if I was out there and just go, you know what, I'm gonna go and do 2 nights here or whatever it is that the commitment is as part of my trip. But
it was for me. There were a few little things that kind of like, I'm not a smoker, so it wouldn't bother me. But like, there was no smoke room or like area to go and smoke because you can't just go outside because you're in space. So once the doors are shut, they don't open until you land on Batuu the next morning. So what do people do that smoke? And like, you're not allowed outside. There's no, obviously all the windows are all projection screens that are showing the outer space stuff and.
I'd struggle with that a bit.
There's no
smoke,
natural
but
light.
That's the bit I would struggle with. No natural light, and not fresh air. I like having a bit of.
Yeah, that's the thing. It
You
seems
come
very
out.
claustrophobic.
He wasn't there, man. Just got totally shell-shocked after. Right.
And like the one thing that got me was the motion, the idea of motion. So basically, they did this thing on one of the videos where they made the ship go to light speed, and everybody in the room went, "Whoa!" Like you could feel it. I'm not sure if that'd get too much during the trip because, like, apparently they're like the ship gets attacked and
just about to eat your cornflakes.
That's what I mean. Like how you just sat there, I was like, like, oh shit.
Just as you bought like a $20 martini or whatever. Whoa. Yeah, that is. Oh no, I want to go now. Right, sorry.
I really want to go.
I'm booking on. That'd be a lot of fun.
I do like that every time you've said something, which has been like, yeah, but this has me and Jacob been like, awesome.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, but everything does move all the time. Sweet.
I wonder as well how many people's cosplaying characters will end up as canon. It's just you'll be watching one of the TV shows, be like, that's who I invented for my trip. Right, that's who I was.
Well,
prove it.
I was thinking the other day. Chad Hogan. I was thinking the other day. The box sets they make for the parks. They always have 3 figures and a droid in, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've now got the 3 figures and a droid for Star Cruiser. They've got the little R2 unit droid, which is the one I put up. There's the captain of the ship. The Imperial officer that invades the ship is his own character. It's not like one from the films. It's one they've made up for the show. And then obviously they've got the Wookiee, the Jedi Wookiee that's on board. There's your box set.
Yeah,
that's got to be coming in the Galactic Star Cruiser like box.
Yeah,
for Black Series, they've got to do them, haven't they?
That'd be very cool.
Obviously, they're all the characters that are featured in that Halcyon comic book as well. So they're all in the comics now. They're all officially canon.
Oh man, I want to go.
And did you see the new? There's the new book coming out that's also based on the Star Cruiser, which is the wedding of Han Solo and Princess Leia. So they got married on Endor at the end of Empire Strikes Back, and then they actually went on the Star Cruiser for their honeymoon. And there's a whole book coming out about it.
Excuse me, no way.
Yeah, so they've like shoehorned this Galactic Star Cruiser into the canon officially now. It's there. It's going to be in the books, in the comics. In
the re-released sort of Blu-rays in like 5 years' time, they'll be like digitally added in, going across the sky,
background.
Like, it's just
Well, it's like when you watch Mandalorian and Rebels when they put in Star Tours, they made that officially canon that these transport things are there with the RX droids in, and they made them official, didn't they? You saw it twice in Mandalorian.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, that's very true. Oh, it's such a good universe. So let's be honest, it's so what a time to be alive. Like, you know what I mean? You can go and pay to be in Star Wars for 2 days. Like that should just be the advert. Like, be in the film, like be in the franchise. Yeah, no, that is awesome.
Well, the tagline is officially "Live your own adventure," is what they call it. Live your own adventure at the Galactic.
I just don't know if I'd want it to end though. Do you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine
the ending when they kick you out at the end?
So immersive in it that you come out and you are that character. Like, you go home to your family. It's just, what happened to you? It's just I don't know who you speak of, but
what about the guests? Oh, they'll be back and in greater numbers too. That's how they should have ended the press tour. That's how they should have ended the press tour.
So, sir, can you pay your bar bill? This is not the bar bill you're looking for. Wonder how many people are going to do that to that poor woman. Wonder how many people are going to do that to that poor person on reception. Like,
I would
like breakfast at 7.
And there's only one line that can do that. There's only one line that can be that, isn't it? You know, my tricks don't work on me. Only money.
That's the mouse in the corner. That's the mouse in the corner.
Yeah.
Only money.
Oh man.
Watto Mickey crossover. That is going to be amazing. Watto Mickey.
Someone's going to do that.
Flapping with his ears. That's how he flies.
Imagine that voice coming out of the mouse. Just imagine Mickey and that voice coming out of him. It's like, hey Mickey, only money.
Hey Goofy, bear me my money. Slaves.
was there anything else, or is that our week? Is that
was kind of it? The only other thing that I thought was funny was when I made my own little travel essentials kit and put it all over the internet, thinking everybody would take the mick out of me. No, everybody wants to buy the items I put up. Like, Jesus, guys.
Yeah.
I did it as a joke. I did it as a little laugh.
But like I said, there's, in the thing, this is what I like. One of the things I do like about it, while there is 90% of the internet are arseholes, there's actually an even, kind of nicer part of the internet where you just go, actually, if you're just liking something and you're having fun with it, then fuck it. It doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Wear a Chewbacca backpack. I'm wearing a Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt, which dates wearing Spider-Man. Oh, look at all the t-shirts we wear, what we talk about, what our backgrounds are and stuff like that. Yeah, life's short, man. Do what makes you happy. And I absolutely loved that. I loved seeing that because it was just like, it is, you can enjoy those things. Like I was saying before we started recording, when I was doing my Rage Quest video with Dave, I just sat on the floor. There's me and my mate in our 30s sitting on the floor putting together this amazing toy in the box like kids, and we thought it'd be funny. I was like, oh, wait a minute. And I put the Mandalorian theme on. I was like, because it made it cooler. Because you're like, yeah, doesn't matter. Who gives a crap? Do what makes you happy.
One of my favorite quotes is that, if it makes you happy, it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. And I just that's nice. how to live your life, So Jerry Springer's final thought. No, but it's just a really nice quote. You know what I mean? And I think that's so true in this day and age. That they're, explore your weirdness and celebrate your individualism, and that's why I think,
that's what it means to be a geek.
This is turning into like an ending from He-Man, people. Let's wrap this up. Today
we're
going
to know about the power of share.
Oracle.
Until next week, He-Man.
One last thing, right? He-Man, what is this new animated version that has just popped up? And I've seen all the toys everywhere, and it's on like Netflix. What is that?
The kids one.
Yeah.
So basically, they made the Masters of the Universe that Kevin Smith made, and then they made one that's more accessible to children. And the kids one's now out, and it's like ridiculous. It's like, it reminds me of the 90s reboot one. They're all very very spacey kind of thing.
Like, no.
Yeah, but look what they did to She-Ra though. She-Ra had a sort of a reboot, didn't it, a little while ago?
We're in Smith's.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
My son picked up like the sword,
Thundercats Raw,
pressed the button, and showed me, and he was like, "Look, it's He-Man's sword." I was like, "Put that down. That's not He-Man's sword."
Do you guys want to know what I've been building this whole time?
Yes, we do. Come on, end the show on a high. What have you been building? An X-Wing.
Tune in next week and you'll find out here on Geek Week in Review. That's how you get people to watch, Jay. No.
Yeah, there's your hook. Come on then, what is it?
The thing I've been sort of sent this week is, my love of vintage Star Wars. It's not Stan Solo before you say it this time, although I have got 3 new figures to do. But it is an unproduced Star Wars vehicle mini rig that someone has made in their 3D printer. So back when they were trying to extend the original Kenner line, they tried to make, like, the mini rig vehicles that aren't actually in the films that they did. They made one that was, this actually fits in the Millennium Falcon. So the U-shaped piece at the end of the Millennium Falcon, this was the cargo hauler, and the idea is it slides in and makes it look like, which is actually a really nice nod in the film Solo. It has the escape pod at the front.
Yeah.
That's actually based on this concept originally. So this is the mini rig toy. So this actually sits in the front of the Millennium Falcon. It was unproduced in the end. They only made some hard copies for Kenner promotional material. So someone has actually made a 3D printed one and come up with the idea as well of making these little crates that can sort of slot in the middle of it. So I've got to sand it and paint it and everything still. But how cool is that?
Yeah.
But these bits even go into the cannons, so it locks in. So there you go. That's what I was building this week. Tune in next week to see what I'll be building then.
I want to see it in a Millennium Falcon. So,
well, I will when I get it painted and everything. I will actually. I'm going to do a proper review on it and do it with the Millennium Falcon. I've also got the '95 re-release of it to see if it will fit in that. So comparisons. But one of the guys, he was over on, there's a Facebook group called The Smuggler's Den, if anyone watching is interested in it, who, and they've sort of started doing it, but it's just really cool. And I saw it in the bag, we were talking, and I'm a nightmare for fidgeting, as you know, every week I'm doing something. And that's what I started doing this week. Normally it's a Transformer, so.
Why not? So that brings our week to a close, I think. So what are we? Week 37, isn't it? Yeah, week 37. Wow, a couple of weeks away from the big 4. So if you are still watching or listening, then thank you very much. And all the usual things, like, share, subscribe, download. Do check us out on Instagram and Facebook, and check the description below for the gents' details and give them a follow if you don't already do so. So that is about it from me, from SuperSorrell, and from Ryan Speaks Geek. So until next week, keep it geek.
The Geek Week in Review.